Hey friends, welcome to the Inner Spark podcast. I'm your host, Casey Tayton. If you're looking to hear stories of transformation and personal growth, this podcast is for you. My guest and I will be sharing those sparking moments that has changed them into living a more fulfilling, authentic life. I'm so excited for you to hear each unique story. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hey friend, welcome back to the Inner Spark podcast. I'm your host, Casey Tayton, and today I have Monica Stein with me. She is a beautiful, amazing person. She is an energy healer, a dog mom, a self-care guru. She went from being an engineer to engineering wellness for herself and her clients. She blends the spiritual with the practical. Is Eastern and Western, and her clients keep coming back for more of her magic. She walks her talk and practices the modalities she offers.
Hi.
Welcome. I am so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. I haven't been on a podcast in a while, so I've been I have my own. I've been interviewing people, having just my own, and it's been a minute, so I'm really excited to be here too.
I am honored to have you here.
Thank
I want to
you.
tell them a little bit about how we met.
Yeah.
So we met in Kathy Heller's world, in our podcasting world, and then we both follow some other coaches, and we have got to deep connect. You're just a magical human being, and you are so talented in so many areas, and it inspires me and lights me up to learn more and more and more. So, would you tell them a little bit about your backstory?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to also just kind of start off. It's kind of my backstory, but I wasn't always like this magical, or maybe I was. Maybe we're all magic and we forget, right? We just
Yeah.
need to remember. Um, the energy that I bring now is it's something I worked at. I wasn't always like this. I was very
Yeah.
fiery and passionate. I call it passionate, but it's like type A, very fiery, need to be just like this. Otherwise I get angry and I get so angry, but that has left. That ship has sailed. Every now and again I do get a little bit more passionate. But yeah, I grew up in a tumultuous home and I had to protect myself.
Yeah.
So what I did was I hid a lot in my bedroom that I shared with my sister, and I studied a lot. It was me and my homework, me and my books, me and my little cocoon because of it. So I don't know where really that took me and how that has helped me. Maybe it's just me self-caring for myself at a very young age. That probably has stayed with me my entire life. Just being just protective of myself, I guess, keeping myself safe wherever I go. A few weeks ago, I mentioned to my husband that I actually put it into words. I realized that I was very risk averse. And he's like, hello, duh. Have you met yourself? And I'm like, I have. And so, like, I know who I am. But sometimes it takes a minute
Yeah.
to hold space for ourselves in that way when we're recognizing something. Not that it's a bad thing that I'm risk averse, but
Mhm.
it's just something that I'm remembering and that I'm recognizing. And that really only happens when we're present, when we're aware. Part of my upbringing in that it was tumultuous is because we kept moving like a lot. And one of the places we moved to was Brazil.
Oh,
My
wow.
family is Brazilian, and I went there. My sister, my mom, my dad, and we went there. And my sister and I didn't really know the language per se. Like, my parents spoke to us in Portuguese and we responded in English. So, like, we had basic understanding, but they put us into a Brazilian school.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
they couldn't afford the American school. So we got put into a Brazilian school. And I will tell you this, when we moved, I had just finished my sophomore year of high school. And here we have 4 years of high school. There's 3 years of high school.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I went from being a sophomore here to then being last year student there. And what was difficult about that, besides the language is that here when we go to high school, normally, well, this was my journey.
Hmm.
Year one, right, you're a freshie, you take biology, maybe you take chemistry the second year if you decide to go that route. Physics is maybe your junior year. There, they really build on it. So it's not biology first year, chemistry second year, physics third year. It is you are learning all of it every single year. So they had already the foundations of biology, chemistry, physics for the first 2 years. And so I was going into the third and last year of high school with just the foundation in biology, but not even in Portuguese because I had it in English. So, and I hadn't taken chemistry here. I chose not to take that route. But when I got to Brazil, I had to choose a path. Was it going to be the sciences or was it going to be more liberal arts? And I chose the sciences because I figured that would be easier for me to translate in my head. And I did enjoy math.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I basically went into my last year of high school with no foundation and all in Portuguese. And when we
And
came back, I did get into a college there for engineering, which was kind of exciting. And when we came back, which we weren't supposed to come back, we were meant to be there like for the rest of our lives mostly. We came back after a few years, and I just felt so smart because the education system there was so good for me. Um,
yeah.
and it was so good. It was so good. Anyway, so we came back here, and I started my path and I came back in April of 90, so I couldn't really transfer into a college because April's kind of late, to
Hmm.
even start, right, applying and taking care of that stuff. So I ended up going to community college, and then I stayed there for a while till I was ready to move forward. And then my dad had a heart attack and triple bypass. At that point, my parents were already divorced. When we came back from Brazil, they got divorced, which was a blessing, a blessing. I was very grateful for that. Um, my dad had a heart attack, triple bypass. My sister went away to school. I stayed around, but I didn't want to I was done with community college. I didn't even want to get an associate's. I just said, I'm done. I need more now. So I transferred to a technical school in the city, and which was amazing. I met so many beautiful international people and I made so many friends. And because I went there, I got to take this internship slash co-op at the Department of Transportation, which was also brilliant. I got to meet more people, widen my world, it broadened my world. It was so beautiful. Um, and then after that, because it's so interesting when you look back and you see like where the pieces were left for you. So
Yeah.
while I was at the Department of Transportation, I met this group of guys who were interning there. I was a co-op, so I was stayed for like 7 or 8 months. But I met these guys there, and they all went to University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, all in engineering. And one weekend that summer, one of the guys had a party and he's like, come. So I took my roommate and we went, and I had such a brilliant time. And at that same time, my mom's home, which is kind of where I was staying, I will refrain from swear words. It was not going well. Poo emoji, okay?
Yeah.
It was not going well. I had to make a decision what to do with my life. My sister was already out of the house. She was already at school, living there. And I had to make a decision. What do I do? I didn't want to go live with my dad. He didn't have the room for me. And I didn't want to stay where I was. And so I think it was July. In July, I called up the University of Illinois and I said, hey, I'd like to transfer over there. What do you need from me? What colleges of engineering are still available to me? And one of them was civil, and I forget what the other two are. Didn't matter. I chose civil. And I said, great. I sent my transcript within a month, sent my transcripts, sent my essays, um, found an apartment, and they accepted me. And boom, within a month, I was starting at the University of Illinois.
Wow. I'm gonna take you back for a second, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you came off as this girl who hid, right?
Yep.
And you hid and you read and like that kept you going. And then all of a sudden you were this person who was like, I'm taking action, I'm doing this. Where do you think that switched in you? Do
Oh
you
boy. I
Do
think
you think
that,
it was like traveling, or do you think
oh,
it was like,
I don't know that it was traveling. And I wonder if it was a little bit of maybe living in Brazil and getting that confidence. I will tell you that for the first year that we lived there, I cried like almost every single day. Hated it, didn't know what to do with myself. But I had this wonderful friend who I still have now, 30 years later. Um, and she took me under her wing. She didn't just like me because I was American. Like she was really my friend. And so nowadays when I go back, I stay with her, I see her. It's a very beautiful relationship. I'm really glad that she's my friend. Um,
the value of
I
friendship?
think it's right. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's because I knew at that point that I needed to take care of myself, that I needed to make decisions for my own life to take care of me because I knew that my parents weren't going to be able to help me. They weren't going to be able to support me. And once again, and this has happened repeatedly in my life, and maybe it's happened in yours too, but we make decisions based on someone else's decisions, right? They make a choice.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit us, right? It doesn't work for us. It doesn't resonate. It's not supporting us. We need to take a step back and say, okay, this is their life. How do we take care of ourselves, right? We are our own wisest self. How do we move forward? And I needed to make a decision. I needed to make a decision. And that is the decision I made. And I can see how the universe supported me in that. And also, sidebar, someone had told me once upon a time that I have a little guardian angel. And so I just kind of stay with that. I'm like, great, I have a guardian angel. And so, I remember that. Yeah, it's been quite a ride for myself. And I remember doing this exercise. I'm not really sure where I think it was a writing exercise. Anyway, I think it was during my Ayurveda training. It was my Ayurveda training, part of my Ayurveda training was life coaching also. And so we had to go through it, these exercises. And so we were kind of journaling on our like landmark things that happen in our lives, right? Like the highlights. And as I was writing like what was going on in my 20s, I'm like, oh my God, what a poo show, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything I did. It was the choices my mother made. And then I had to figure out what to do next. What do you do next as you barely have life experience. What do you do when you're 20, right? How do you take care of yourself when you're 22? Most people go to college, right? They graduate high school, they go to college, they start at about 18 or 19,
Mm.
and you start getting some responsibilities a little bit. But I was still living at home, right? Going to community college, going to the other school, before I transferred out of town. And like, how do I take care of myself? What are the decisions I have to make? Given the limited knowledge that I had at the time, how do I take care of myself? And I saw that the universe supported me. I jumped and the universe caught me, said, hey, we gotcha. We're going to figure this out.
That's so powerful. It's really inspiring and it's really powerful for someone. I'm gonna be honest, I've never traveled outside the United States. So for someone who left the United States and then got in a school and didn't even speak the language, and then you came back and then it's like mind blowing to me of like, and then all of a sudden you were just like, okay, I'm ready. My life is starting and I'm taking control of it and I'm going for this.
Yeah, but it takes its toll, right? So I had to
Yeah.
protect myself a lot. I had a lot of decisions I had to make and make a lot of choices. And at some point, it catches up to you if you're not caring for yourself. And when you're in your 20s, maybe 30s, like you take life for granted, right? Especially if you are healthy. You take life for granted and you're like, I'm invincible, all good. I don't have to worry about things. I'm going to speed. I'm going to, drink a lot, eat a lot, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
something happens, right? And that
Yeah.
something happened to me when I was 31. So, and that's when life is like, okay, hello, take a look at your life. What do you want to do now? How do you want to take care of yourself? What are you going to do moving forward, right? We flow with whatever happens, right? With our own lives. We're getting to know ourselves in a different way as we're growing up, right? I went to this women's retreat this weekend. It's a beautiful retreat, and I'm still learning things about myself. I'm going to be 54 in a week. or 6 days. And I'm still learning like so much about myself. And the most common comment I get when I go to these types of things is, "Oh, hey, did you come with someone?" I'm like, "No, no, no, I came alone." And they're like, "Oh, you're so brave." And I'm like, "Why is that brave? Like, I do this all the time." And but maybe it's because of how I grew up and all the circumstances I've had where I'm just like, whatever, I just go by myself. Like, I get to meet people and I usually, most of the time, walk away with a new friend, with a connection. And that's all good.
I think that's yeah, no, I think it's super powerful because it is difficult when you've never traveled or done these things alone. I just said that to a friend the other day, and it was even going somewhere in my own hometown. I was like, God, I wish you lived closer so you could go with me. I mean, not that I can't go by myself, but sometimes it's intimidating. And
Oh,
so I think that we're always doubting and like questioning ourselves, and it's like finding that inner confidence of like, and it's freedom. I imagine like how much free you feel when you do
yeah,
these things, like
yeah,
empowering, like I can stand on my own 2 feet.
yeah,
And like I know you have a husband, but also you also get to stand on your own 2 feet and do these things and
yeah,
meet new people.
yeah,
So it just is, it's truly
yeah.
powerful.
Don't get me wrong. I was scared. I was scared. I have to
Huh?
drive. I have to drive. I get to drive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that without traffic, it takes about an hour and a half to get there. I think it was like 70 something miles or something, but there's always traffic in the Bay Area. And I was concerned. I was leaving Friday afternoon. What does this look like? My GPS was taking me in a different route altogether that was going to take 3 hours and
Oh,
triple the miles. And I'm like, why is it taking me down there? There's like nothing going on up here. Like, I don't understand. I had to pull off, look at my like Google app or whatever the maps and then look at my GPS and I'm like, what do I do? And I kept changing it. What's funny is like on my car, I kept changing it to fastest and
yeah.
it would take me there. And then like 10 seconds later, it would revert back to no, go this way. And I'm like, I have to make a decision, right? Maybe there's something that the GPS knows that I don't know, but I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to go the way that I know. And that's just the way it's going to be. But I was scared because of traffic. I was scared because I don't usually leave my town.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I have everything here. Um, and I'm meeting all these people. I don't even know how many women were going to be there. It was at camp. I don't go camping. Like that's not me. I went to day camp when I was younger, but never
Yeah.
overnight camp, right? For me, like going camping is like a two-star hotel or one-star hotel. Like I don't know what that is. Okay. So, like, this was new for me. I didn't know what to expect. I have a lot of dietary restrictions, and I put that down on the form. I did not know what to expect. But there was something inside of me that just said, don't worry, you'll be fine. I was going to bring my pillow, my blanket. I was going to bring out so many other things. And I'm like, Monica, you're still here in the Bay Area. Like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And I'm going. And one of the things I had to do while I was driving there was go on this windy road up a hill, and that makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had an apple, and I'm eating the apple, and I'm like, it's okay, Monica, we're almost there. It tells me only 4 miles. We're almost there. So, there's still a lot of scary. And then I get there, and I'm still, here's the thing. People say, yes, you're brave. Yeah, that takes courage. And yes, I'm still scared. But there's that part of me that's still, and I recognize this, even this week, this past weekend, like I felt like my energy was all like here. It wasn't out here.
Yeah.
Like I was still very nervous. When I got to the pickup point for the shuttle, nobody greeted me, not even the counselors who were there.
Oh,
And I thought, what the
yeah.
hell, right? Like this is terrible.
Yeah.
But then these other women who just parked their cars came up to me and like said, "Hey, do you know what's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, great. Someone's talking to me." I don't usually, I'm very shy. So, when I approach people, but here's the thing, when I got there, they looked at me, but they never said hello. They never said welcome. And then people are like, "Well, why didn't you say hello?" And I'm like, I just got there. Aren't they
Mhm.
maybe I'm making
Right.
up stories, right, for them. Like, shouldn't they be welcoming? I'm judging, but I don't know. I feel like we should be welcomed when we come in someplace. And that is what I do when people walk into any event that I have, right? When I was president of this women's group last year, people came in and like I welcomed them, even though I was president and busy doing other things. And I have this one woman who was so wonderful. And she actually told me a few months ago, she goes, "You're the reason I joined because even though you have a hospitality table, nobody really welcomed me. It wasn't until you walked up to me and started talking to me that I felt welcome." And I said, thank you for saying that because there's so many things that we do and how we show up that we don't
Mm,
recognize. We're just being our true authentic selves, right? But we
yeah.
don't recognize it until somebody says to us, here's what I saw, here's what I experienced, right? And sometimes they
Mm.
don't share that information. They keep it
That
hidden too, right? For some reason. Tell me more, right? Whenever I see someone, I'm like, oh my God, I find something, to acknowledge, you know?
It's so funny that you would say that you're shy. And I think it's just because we've got to know each other. Because I don't see that at all. I like see you as like this person that's just like, I mean, very welcoming. I mean, you can be shy and welcoming in a different way. So I mean, I can see how, I mean, that's how I am. And it's never a second guess of just like, hi, how are you? Even though I'm more quiet when I don't know you. But the power that that has in it, um, just to welcome somebody, it's so powerful. And I'm so glad the lady said that to you.
I know. Yeah. It's
'Cause
these little blessings, right, that we can
they
accumulate
are.
along the way in our lives, right? When people remind us of who we are, like we remember, like Kathy Heller always tells us, remember to remember, right? And I'm remembering things about myself and I'm getting to know parts of myself that I forgot or didn't even know about, haven't
Yeah,
acknowledged in forever. But when other people come and share these blessings with you, hold them close, right? What a beautiful exchange.
that's impactful. And it's funny because we never stop learning. And I think in Kathy's community, that's one of the biggest things that we've learned is that it doesn't matter our age. We're all ages in there. I mean, I'm 41 and we're all ages and we're
Mm-hmm.
all learning and growing together.
Yeah.
And it's so, so powerful.
It's so powerful. Yeah. And so, just remembering, who you are and what's the energy that you bring, right, into
Yeah.
the space because you can influence it. You can influence it. And you know, I think that because of all the work I've done on myself, that has changed me, my energy, the meditations, the energy clearing, all the things that I've studied and I practice, anything. And it doesn't even have to be a study, honestly. You can learn from other people, like from their mistakes and say, I'm not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you embody that, right?
Mhm.
And you bring that with you wherever you go. Any book you read, anything you digest, it's not just food. It's what you're reading, it's who you're spending time with, what you're watching on television. I think one of the books that I studied, I can't remember who it was, at Atomic Habits. You are the five people that you surround yourself with. I call it the five energies because not all the time is it people, right? One of the things could be news. One of the things could be social media, right? Because we spend a lot of time with social media. A lot of us do,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
My
Yeah.
aunt spends a lot of time with her news. She listens to the news all day long on repeat. And so we are digesting that, right? We're either looking at it, we're digesting through our eyes, we're digesting through our cells, we're digesting through our ears. What are you bringing into your life to help calm you down, right? Can you
Yeah.
close your eyes and not take some stuff in, right?
That's, yeah, that's so powerful. I actually did a podcast episode that's released on that about who you spend your time with and where your energy goes. And is what you're doing lifting you up or is it physically draining you?
Yep,
Because I don't think people realize it. And even on a daily basis, I have to check in with myself of where am I going with this and how did it make me feel? And that's
yep,
why I released it because I had had a week and I just thought, let me reflect on this week and see where I'm at.
yep, yep. Where
So,
are you at, right? But sometimes we don't want to see that. We don't want to see where we're at, right? So we keep filling our buckets, our lives with so many different things so that we don't have to acknowledge where we are.
yes. Okay, with all that being said, I have a question for you. I want to take you back because we're talking so much about energy and who we surround ourselves with. So, how did you go from being an engineer,
Mhm.
going to school for that, engineering, to what switched you? What changed you? What sparked you to do something different?
I think it was all the illness. It was all the illness. So Hmm. I loved engineering. There were so many parts of engineering that I loved, and I still use a lot of that in my business today. But there were certain jobs that did not resonate with me. And I tend to stay longer than I want in those jobs because I like having purpose and I like having community and I like having financial stability.
Yeah.
So that was really important to me. And so, while some jobs did not make me happy, I did look for other jobs within the company. When I was about 8 years old, my dad taught my sister and I Reiki and meditation. And so that actually has come full circle. So, with my very last job at Boeing, which did not resonate with me at all, and that was like a whole fiasco all by itself, I'll just keep it short and say I ended up leaving. I ended up leaving for the last time. That was enough for me. At some point, some years previous to that, I was standing in my living room. I was living in Seattle at the time. And as many of you may know, Seattle's not known for sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was standing in my living room and I was looking out the window. It was an overcast day, overcast with a peak of sun. And so I was standing there and I'm just looking out the window, and all of a sudden there's this tear that's coming out of my eye. And I'm like, what's that? What's going on? I don't understand. And that was the moment where I really connected to myself. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm just unhappy. I'm unhappy here. I have a beautiful house. I have great friends. I love all the things. I love the beauty. I'm tired. I just can't do this anymore. I cannot be here anymore. And so I
Mm.
planted a seed in the universe in my husband's head. I planted a seed.
Yeah.
It took several years. So I ended up leaving the Boeing company in 2013, October of 2013. My husband left Amazon and a year later. And he said to me, this is going to be quick, whatever happens. He's in tech. So he's like, this is going to be quick, whatever we do. And I said, okay. He looked for jobs out here in California, northern and southern. And he ended up with several job offers. And he asked me where I wanted to live. And I said to him, it's a very loaded question because I need to know if you need me to have a job. Because if you want me to work, if you want the second income, we're going to have to move to Southern California because that is where aerospace is. That is my experience.
Yeah.
And I asked him in return, I said, which job do you like? Because you're the one who is going to be earning more than me no matter what.
Mhm.
Where do you want to go? I was asking him to uproot. I didn't mind uprooting. I'm used to moving around, but
Yeah.
he's very stable. He likes stability. So he said, the one in San Francisco. And I said, okay, if you're okay with me not working, then little did I know that was a manifestation that I would not be able to get a job. Anyway, sidebar. We moved to the Bay Area, and after about 10 months or so, he's like, okay, I like it here. We can stay. And I'm like, great, let's buy a house. Okay. That was the start of a different kind of journey of
Yeah.
overpriced houses and multiple offers and, bidding over asking. That was quite the adventure for us. But we found a beautiful home and it's been great. We've been here 10 years, 10 years in March.
Wow.
And I wouldn't know where else to go, really. Um, so we got here. I had a cat who was not doing well. She had a tumor. We needed to remove it. So most of my time was settling in, unpacking, getting to know the new area, finding a good vet for her. Um, Meeting people. How do I meet people? How do you meet people when you are not working, when you don't have a
Yeah.
job? So I joined a newcomers club in my area, and they were women. There was maybe like one person my age, but most of them were older. They were empty nesters, they were retirees.
Mhm.
They just moved here. So that was good for a while. I didn't make any friends, but I still kept going. Try new things. I'm always listening to, not always. Lately in my life, I've been listening to inspirations. Anytime I get a little pss, pss, pss in my ear, I'm like, oh, let me go check that out. What does that mean? What am I supposed to do with this? So I've given myself permission to follow those inspirations wherever they might go. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hard. I've made some friends, but also I have friends in Seattle, so I go back. And one of my friends actually moved to Sacramento. So kind of far, it's like an hour and a half, but still
Yeah.
closer than Seattle. Instead of being hour and a half
Yeah.
on the airplane, I'm an hour and a half in the car. And she comes here a lot. So that was great. She was my bestie in Seattle. So it's been good. And during this time, I'm trying to find things like a part-time job, but nothing's calling, nothing's happening. And my sister calls me up that first year that I'm here in 2015, and she says, I need a break. I need a break. We did a little research. We ended up at the Chopra Center in San Diego, which is no longer there. We ended up there for a week. It was a week-long retreat. And we didn't know what we were signing up for. We're just like, okay, see you there. And she was coming from Chicago. I was coming from here. See you there. We're sharing a room. That's it. And it was so brilliant. And so that week is where we learned how to meditate with Deepak Chopra.
Wow.
And it was so, so brilliant. And this, like, it just, for me, that just became full circle. While I was an engineer, I studied a lot, like a lot of other things just to bring me into balance.
Hmm.
Animal communication, coaching, aura cleansing, like anything that was just anything fun, curious, tarot cards, like quilting, whatever it was. I'm like, let me do that. I need to release the stress in my body from engineering. So I've learned a lot of things. Anyway, this was so beautiful, and this was the meditation that I needed. And I still guide people to this day. Even today, I had a meditation this morning that I guided a group of people, and I love this meditation. And to me, it just started my full circle journey to when I was 8 years old and healing myself and taking care of myself, right? Given all the circumstances I grew up with, taking care of myself, protecting myself. So I got certified. My sister and I both got certified at the Chopra Center for meditation. To get certified, we needed to study a little bit of Ayurveda. I had no clue what it was. They weren't helping me. I didn't understand it. So I decided to study it so I could understand it more. And so then I got certified in Ayurveda, and then I got certified in yoga teacher training, 200 hour. And then we had this pandemic. I'm like, now what? So I was teaching online.
Hmm.
Before that, I was teaching in person. But then during the pandemic, I was teaching online, and I studied more. I studied more Ayurveda. I studied health coaching, life coaching. I studied more meditation. I studied like so much. So now I'm in a place that just feels so, so delicious and so in alignment. And really, our mentor, Kathy Heller, like she really helped with that. Like I've been following Kathy for over maybe a year and a half now. And it's been so, so good. Just my whole energy, like my alignment, whatever she did, whatever magic, she has really allowed me to find my own magic. Again, we all have magic. We just need to find it. We need to remember it. We need to share it. We need to share our light. And so that's really what I help people with energy healing. How can I help you heal? How can I help you shine your light? And it's just so many ways. And I've had a lot of business coaches, well, not a lot, several business coaches, and they're always saying the same things. Do it my way. I absolutely can help you. I can totally help you. Do it my way. And you really have to listen, and you get caught up in that excitement, right?
Oh, yeah.
We all carry energy, right?
Hmm.
And we get sucked into the energy of that person, right? The five people we surround ourselves with, right? And
Yep.
it's not just five people or five energies um in general. Like it's just like, what about those five people in that one day,
Yeah.
right? In that 1 hour, who are you surrounding yourself with? So I get sucked in, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. Now there were some beautiful blessings from these groups for sure.
Hmm.
But this is the first time where I felt like I was given permission to do what I needed to do and not second guess myself because I wasn't doing it their way. I was doing it my way.
That's so
I
powerful
I was
right
looking
there.
for, right? I was looking
Yeah.
for what is fun for me? What am I going to enjoy? What is going to bring me delight? How can I be of service to people with my gifts? What does that look like? Because once we know that and we're in alignment, that's where
Mhm.
the confidence comes in. It's not listening to the other people and their way. Their way worked for them. We are all unique human beings. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses, right?
Mhm.
What can we do with these gifts that were gifted to us on the day that we were born? What can we do with them? So I just went back to energy healing. And it took me a while too. That took me a few years too. Like, am I a meditation teacher? And this is like, it's a lot of mindset stuff too, right?
Yeah.
For people who know me as an engineer, then there are people who know me as a meditation teacher, and then an Ayurvedic health coach, and then a life coach, and energy healer. And they're all different people. But those people who were with me from the beginning, they start thinking like, what the hell? Is she like wishy-washy? First she's an engineer, now she wants to teach meditation, now she wants to teach yoga, now she whatever. You know what? It's all part of me. It doesn't matter. I'm reading the book by Mel Robbins, right? Let
Yeah.
me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Let them have those stories about
Let
me.
them.
It's okay. They're entitled. They can make up whatever they want to do. That's their life. I'm not going to let it bring me down, right? I'm thinking
Mhm.
those things too. They're not the only ones thinking that. Can I make a decision? Do I know what I want? I didn't have the right mentors. So look for the right mentors, right? Be around the people that inspire you, not drain you. Just going back to what you said, right? What's draining
Mhm.
you? Don't be around those people that drain you, right? We want to be around people that lift us up, that support us. I have this new friend that I met at the Kathy's Summit last year who is like my biggest cheerleader, like overt. She is always like just right there, smiling, cheering me on all the time, in front of other people. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. And I told her this. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that because I've never received that before. This is so new to me. Thank you for helping me to get comfortable with it
That's
because I never
powerful.
was, right?
Yeah.
So really, here I am, like 54 in 6 days and like still figuring out my life, still figuring out myself
Yeah.
and what's fun, right? Like, what do I want to do when I grow up? And I love what I do. And it just like all of this just came together. All these healing arts, all the things that I know and I love with like, hi, I'm practical. I'm not 100% guru. Like I'm not. I live in
Right.
the modern world. Like there's stuff that happens. I buy stuff that's already cut up for me. I don't cut it up. Okay? Fruit,
Yeah.
whatever it is, vegetables. No, because life happens. And even though technology is supposed to help us and it kind of does, it also takes time. So
Yeah.
there's things and we want to have a good time and we can have a good time cooking if that is our passion,
Hmm.
but there's also like I want to have a good time with my friends, and so let me just hurry up and make myself a meal and enjoy the meal and go do stuff that I want to do, exercise, go outside in nature, have a I'm going to meet a friend today. I'm going to meet her new foster dog, so I'm
Oh,
excited about that. Like, how do I make time for that, right before I go volunteer? So
yeah.
what lights you up? What is your body telling you that you need to do? And I think no, ultimately, I just want to say, and I know you didn't ask me like final parting words, but really, like ultimately, I feel like this has come full circle already.
Yeah.
Is that, what lights you up? And, maybe it's something that's full circle for you too. What did you enjoy when you were a kid? Right?
Mhm.
What lights you up? And maybe this is a journaling practice for you to figure out. Maybe it's a meditation practice. Maybe it's just you spending time by yourself, which so many of us do not like spending time with ourselves,
Very true.
right? So what is that? How can you bring your gift into this world?
Hmm.
And this gift, it doesn't have to be the same one all the time. I
Hmm.
believe that my gift, like when just as far back as I can remember thinking like I was in purpose and on purpose, was a
Hmm.
few of my jobs at Boeing, right? Or being surrounded by those people and who I was helping. That was my purpose at that time. This is my purpose now. That can change. And one of the things I learned was that, we have purpose and there's little purpose with, so Dharma in Sanskrit, that's small d. And then there's big Dharma with a capital D. The big Dharma is our umbrella, right? This is like our overall big purpose. But daily, hourly, we have our purpose, our small purpose, and all that little purpose is doing is guiding us towards our bigger purpose. It is like different assignments that capture our whole big purpose in this life. I had a meeting. I went to an Ayurveda conference a few weeks ago, a
Real
month
fast, will
ago.
you tell listeners
Yeah.
what that is?
Oh, Ayurveda. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga. It translates as the science or wisdom of life. It's about bringing balance into your life. And just to keep it simple, if you're feeling really, 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 really cold, are you going to drink like a nice hot tea or are you going to have like an ice cold beverage, So kind of like that. How do you bring in balance into your life? So I went to this conference. There's 6 pillars of health in Ayurveda: movement, meditation, nutrition, um, emotions, sleep, and self-care, stress management type of thing. So I do all of those. And so I went to this conference and I learned so many beautiful things. There are doctors there who are Eastern and Western, and it's so beautiful. And just hearing what is going on in Ayurveda and how it's supporting Western medicine and how it overlaps, it supports, and it's a lot of there's something I read a long time ago, and it was like the pills that we take, the medicine that we take in general, when the doctor prescribes it to you, that is all based on plants. Like it started that way, right? They added
Yeah.
some chemicals, there's some other things, right? So it's all plant-based, sort of. I won't get
Yes.
too much into that, but that's where it started. And Ayurveda is just a beautiful way of being in balance and being aware. And that's really what it's about. Being aware of what's going on so that you can bring balance into your life. Too much of something, too much sugar, you can feel kind of disgusted and cloying and whatever and sticky. Um, Too little of something, right, can also not feel good. So how do we bring ourselves into balance? So I went to this conference and they're trying to raise funds. So I made a donation so that I could get an astrology reading and a Jyotish astrology reading, which is different than
Right.
Western
Yeah.
astrology. Anyway, so she said to me at the end of our conversation, based on my astrology chart, she said to me that I am exactly where I'm meant to be, that I am supposed to be the healer at this point in my life. I am supposed to be the healer, and people will come to me for healing. And while that wasn't one of my questions, it was validation. It's also
Ah.
validation when people come to you and they ask you a question, they're asking for advice. Those are clues for you, right? What are people
Mhm.
asking me? What are they asking me for? That is a clue for you because that is something that they respect about you, that they feel like you are the guru for them to help them. So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was so beautiful. The other thing she said to me, which I really appreciate, and I didn't get into, all I said was she asked about my upbringing, and I said it was tumultuous, and that was it. And she said to me afterwards, she goes, "It's good that you decided to not have a relationship with your mother. She didn't know, anything, just looking at my
Yeah.
chart." And she had said some things about my mother, and like I started to cry because no one has ever said these things. And I was just like, I was receiving, and
Yeah.
it unfortunately resonated. And, that's hard when it's a parent, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I went to a therapist just to kind of talk about this stuff. And she said, mom, dad, whatever, it's a label. It's just a label, whatever it is. It's just a label. So, there's things, and see, it's still me trying to protect myself, right? Creating those boundaries,
Hmm.
self-care all the time. Do I feel like going somewhere? Do I not feel like going somewhere? What's my body telling me? So everything that I do, I put me first. I have to put me first because if I don't, I can't be there for my family. I can't be there for my clients.
That's so powerful. I could go 100 ways with this, and we could break
I
this
know.
down into like another 5 hours of conversation.
Yeah. So
Because
anyway, full circle,
yeah,
full circle. First, so 8 years old,
yeah,
Reiki and meditation, and I relearned meditation with different meditations. But the one that stuck with me is with Deepak Chopra. The Reiki, I went back to look at my notes, and I have my certificate like from 2006. I learned Reiki in 2006. So I recently got reattuned with a friend of mine. I didn't need to, but I wanted to get reattuned. She's like, "You don't need it." And I'm like, "I want to. I just want to know, am I in the right path?" And she reattuned me, and if you're familiar with Reiki and when the attunement happens, the symbols came, and I didn't even remember what the symbols were. The symbols came on top of my head. I closed my eyes to receive when she did this attunement, and it came up over my head, these symbols, and they were dancing. They were dancing all over the place and my tears. And I'm just like, oh my God. So, there's so many messages that we can receive if we're available, if we allow ourselves to receive them. So, yeah, all of this, how did it start? That's how it started. And it's just pieces, right? The universe provides us with opportunities. Are we listening? And if we're not, the universe is going to come back and give us a little bit more of a nudge. And then if we're still not listening, it's a little bit more of a nudge. So, it just keeps coming back, right? It just keeps coming back. And the people, and it might not even be the same people who keep coming back into your circle. It might be different people with similar energy or similar messages, right? It may not come the way you want it to come,
Yeah.
but it comes. And I kind of feel like I wonder, it's a good question to ask. I'm wondering if we all come full circle at some point, while we're aware, like
Yeah.
in this point. Like I know, we are born, we die, but in between, do we notice any full circle moments in our lives?
That's definitely an interesting question.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I think we should put a toll out or a poll out on there and and see like what people say because um we're not taught to listen to our bodies. Like I think it's a really gift that you learned a lot of this at a young age and then kind of moved back into it. You always had these tools, but I mean, I've told you that I learned some of it from my grandmother at a young
Mm-hmm.
age.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fully embrace it all until, I got older. But so many people aren't even aware or it's frowned upon to do things like this. And I
Yep.
think that it's happening that our world is just becoming more open to look at different things.
Yeah.
You kind of already answered this. Well, first of all, can you tell people where they can find you at?
Sure. So, where can they find me? So my my website is monica.coach, www.monica.coach. That will take you to a different website, which is Authentic You, and a lot of people don't know how to spell that, so I just keep monica.coach. And there's an opportunity there to meditate with me on Monday mornings at 8:30. It's free. I have a little community. And it's really beautiful. And it's the meditation that I learned with Deepak Chopra. It's called the Four Soul Questions. And so I meet 8:30 Monday mornings, and you can sign up there. I also have a podcast, Prana and Possibilities. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Apple Podcasts. Um, yeah, I think those are some good ways. And if you have, a question for me, you can always email me at hello@monica.coach, monica.coach. I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll leave those in the show notes so people can find
Yeah.
you. I do ask everybody, and you kind of already answered this, but if there is one thing that they should go do today
Mm,
to get them started on finding that inner spark, what would you say?
mm. One thing to find that inner spark. I would say close your eyes. Close your eyes. Bring your hands to your heart space, your left hand on your heart space, your right hand on top of your left hand. And I invite you to go through these four soul questions with me. Who am I? Who am I? Notice what comes up for you. Notice, acknowledge all the labels, every beautiful piece of you that's coming into your mind right now of who you are. Acknowledge, give gratitude, release, let it float away. It'll always be a part of you. And each time you ask yourself this question, different things will come. Same thoughts, but maybe different things too. Who am I? Who am I? What do I want? What is my heart's desire? Really check in with yourself. Check in with your heart. What does your heart want? Maybe it's an image. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's a feeling. What is it that my heart desires? What is my purpose? My dharma? Notice what comes up for you here. An image, a thought. What is my purpose? How can I be of service to myself? And how can I be of service to others? What does that look like? What does it feel like? And what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? This can be itemized. You might be grateful for your breath, your home, the food on your table, your appliances. It could also be the energy of gratitude. What does that energy feel like of being grateful? How does that change? How does that change the energy in your body? What am I grateful for? And just notice that energy filling you up, surrounding you, emanating from you. When we're grateful, we attract more things to be grateful for. It lifts our vibration. It raises our vibration. Am I grateful for? You can release your hands, float your eyes open. These are the 4 soul questions that I've learned. And sometimes, just asking yourself what they are, who you are in this moment, what you want in this moment, what you'd like to see in this moment. Maybe journal on it. Notice what comes up for you. Sometimes the answers don't come during the meditation, during this time. Sometimes they're shown to you a little bit later outside of this space, and you recognize it. Ah, that's what it is. That's what's resonating for me. But we need to be aware, right? Can you be aware? Can you be with your breath? Can you be present in your own life? This is the one life you have. Can you be present in it?
Thank you so much for that special gift. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I will drop all your links so listeners can come find you.
Thank you.
You guys, I don't know what you took away from that. I want to thank Monica for the special gift at the end. I encourage you to go find her. She is an incredible woman, from becoming an engineer to just connecting, coming home to herself through everything she has studied and learned. And she is so knowledgeable about so many different things, and just how she pulls them all together to be uniquely who she is. It just truly lights me up. So I encourage you guys to go find her, go listen to her, and as always, go let those sparks fly. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I hope today's story inspired you to embrace your own journey of growth and change. Remember, transformation isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. If you found something that sparked you in this episode and may spark a friend, I encourage you to go share it with them. If you have your own story you would like to share, I would love to hear it, so please reach out to me. Until next time, friends, go have some fun and let those sparks fly.